Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So today our topic is planning for a resource. To complete a project, we need a resource. A resource could be in the form of peoples, resource could be equipments, material. Identifying the resource required and the quantity need is the focus of resource planning. Planning for a resource start with the work breakdown structure or WBS, historical informations, the scope statements and policies of the organization, referencing to staffing, rental and purchase guideline. So this overall process is called planning for a resource. Budget in the general sense, budget is described as a statement or representing a financial estimate of income or expenditure of government for a certain period. In cost accounting, budget means quantitative statement prepared before a period of estimate of future receipt and disbursement. Integrated process of preparing, implementing in operating budget is called budgeting. While here relating to project management, budget or plan for allocating organization resource to project activity. So we not talk about the governmental budgets, we not talk about the uh, in cost accounting budget, only we talk about the budget and a project management. So budget or plan for allocating organization resource to project activities, forecasting requiring quantity need, when needed and cost. Budget helps tie the project to overall organization objective. Budget can be used as a tool by upper management to monitor and guide the project. Overfunding, underfunding. It is a business practice which is used to forecast the operating activity and financial position of the business. Budget is used to fix target in monetary term and control the deviation of any further. It can also be used as a basis to measure the performance of organization. It is prepared on the basis of past experience and trend in a business. It played the role of business help measuring the performance of a business by comparing actual and budget result. It should modify or corrected whenever there is a change in circumstance. It is estimated of the economic activity of any entity which relate to a specific future period. It must be written and approved by appropriate authority. So there will be lots of classification of budgets, budget classification by time, budget classification by capacity, budget classification by scope, budget classification by receipt in expenditure. Again, time is divided by two, long term and short term. Capacity is again divided by two proportions, fixed budget and flexible budget, or scope, functional budget and master budget. Receipt and expenditure is capital budget, revenue budget. Again, functional budget may be divided by sales budget, production budget, marketing budget, purchase budget, cash budget, and inventory budget, and so on and so on. So here only remembers budget or plan for allocating the organization resource of specific project activity, forecasting the required resource quantity when needed, and try to cover the objective of organizations and used by the upper management and monitor and guide. Those who have authority, they can make the budget. Method of budgeting. There are two fundamentally different strategy for data gathering: top down and bottom up. Top down budgeting is based on collective judgment and experience of top and middle managers. Overall project cost is estimated by estimating cost of the major task. This process is directed from the top to bottom, therefore called top-down budget. In a short, in work breakdown structure, when we move from the top to bottom, the work breakdown task place. Similarly, in a top-down budget, the budget breakdown takes place as we move from top to bottom. So, top-down budgeting have their advantage as well disadvantage. Advantage of top-down budget is accuracy of estimating overall budget. Error in finding small tasks need not to be individually identified. The experience and judgment of the top management consider for small but important activity to be factored into overall estimation or estimated. Disadvantage of top-down budgeting. First, land manager complain about the less allocation of resource to the work unit. All the time, first land manager complain about their less allocation of resource to their work units. Bottom up budgeting. Work breakdown identifies the element task from the bottom. Those responsible for executing these tasks estimate resource requirement lower first line managers. Initially, estimates are made in the term of resource such as labor hours and materials. The estimated are the communicated to higher authority. Bottom-up budgeting advantage. Individuals closer to work are thought to have a more accurate idea of resource requirement. The direct involvement of low-level manager in budget preparation increase the likelihood that they will accept the result with a minimum of dislike. Involvement is a good managerial training technique giving the junior managers valuable experience. Bottom-up budgeting disadvantage. Normally, the lower level management overestimate the budget due to fear the top management shall deduct a part of it. Which method to be adopted for the project budgeting, top down or bottom up, depend on the budgets. Bottom up budgeting disadvantage that we have discussed, or which method to be adopted for the project budgeting, top down or bottom up, depend on the organization in situation. Some organizations adopt a mix of both. Budgeting, top down budgeting is very common through bottom up budget are rare. Some senior managers see the bottom up process as a risky. They tend not to be practically trusting the ambitious subordinate who the fear may overstate. the resource requirement. They are